A powerful coastal storm system is rapidly taking shape this morning just off the southeastern coastline, and it is projected to deliver significant impacts along the eastern seaboard as we head into this weekend and early next week. I'm here to break down everything you need to know about this developing system, and we're going to focus heavily on the impacts it may bring. After that, we'll expand our view and analyze today's weather across the entire lower 48, including an extra detailed look at the southwest, where an influx of tropical moisture from the eastern Pacific is expected to trigger localized flooding concerns through the weekend. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, consider joining the community, and if you find value in these videos, don't forget to hit that like button. Current conditions. Let's start with the main story. Take a look right here. This is our developing nor'easter. You can call it a coastal storm if you'd like, but it's not tropical in nature, has no warm core, and no tropical characteristics. You can clearly see strong convection firing off the southeast coast, shown by the colder cloud tops indicated in the color scale. That tells us we're already dealing with heavy rain, thunderstorms, and organized energy, and this system is only strengthening. Meanwhile, we're still tracking Tropical Storm Jerry, which continues to struggle structurally and has shown little to no intensification. Still, it's producing widespread tropical showers and thunderstorms over the Lesser Antilles as it tracks slowly northward. Once it clears the region, it shouldn't pose a major threat to any additional land areas. Subtropical Storm Karen, also formed briefly in the North Atlantic, but it's located over much colder waters and will likely dissipate quickly, so we won't spend much time on that. No, we're not getting Hurricane Karen despite all the memes. This coastal system is the main storyline today. So let's shift back to a coastal storm model breakdown. Will begin in the south and track northward. I'll show you a model run first, then we'll go deep into the impacts. Starting with Florida, which dealt with nasty weather along the east coast last night. As we head into this afternoon, you'll notice clusters of showers and thunderstorms scattered across the Florida peninsula, especially towards the east. Expect unsettled and stormy conditions with gusty winds and downpours, particularly for northeast Florida, Jacksonville, Gainesville, and surrounding areas. Nothing Floridians aren't used to, but it will be a soggy, stormy day by this evening. And overnight into tomorrow morning, we'll still see lingering activity near Jacksonville before the system pulls away and drier. Air moves in from the north finally, offering a break tomorrow afternoon. Now moving up the eastern seaboard, we're watching moisture rise into the Carolinas and mid-Atlantic. This is the latest ECMWF EURO model, which I think has a solid handle on the evolution of this system. By late tonight, around 10 to 11 p.m., heavy rain begins pushing into South Carolina and southeast North Carolina. Tomorrow morning, residents in eastern North Carolina and much of South Carolina will likely wake up to a soaking wall of rain. By tomorrow evening, this coastal storm intensifies and conditions deteriorate quickly. Strong wind gusts of 2040 mph will spread inland, but the Outer Banks and coastal zones from Wilmington to Cape Hatteras could see powerful 40 to 50 miles per hour gusts, rough surf, and coastal flooding concerns. That's when things could get dicey. Unfortunately, much of this will unfold overnight, when visibility is low and conditions are more difficult to monitor. As we push into late tomorrow night, moisture from the system begins to pivot westward, and model guidance continues to differ on how far inland this rain will be thrown into the Carolinas. Some runs now show precipitation reaching as far west as Columbia, and certainly pushing into Raleigh. Then things take a strange turn in the atmosphere. Residual energy becomes trapped near the southeast coast, and model guidance suggests the potential development of a secondary low-pressure center. By Sunday morning, heavier bands of rain may be forced back into Georgia and central South Carolina, accompanied by bursts of strong wind gusts. Nothing extreme, but enough to create unsettled and messy conditions. The primary low sits at around 1001 MB just off the South Carolina coast, but the overall setup still carries many question marks. This is not a straightforward storm. As the initial low is nudged toward the southeast coastline, a new low-pressure system begins to organize offshore. By late Sunday evening, this evolving system starts to resemble a completely new storm, powered by a fresh surge of atmospheric energy lifting northward. Moving into Monday morning, this secondary system becomes the dominant low, dropping to near 1002 MB and spreading nasty weather into southern New England, New York City, Long Island, and coastal New Jersey. Expect bands of heavy rain with embedded 35 to 45 miles per hour wind gusts in some of those yellows and oranges on the radar. This low may even track dangerously close to the mid-Atlantic shoreline, influencing regions like Delaware, the Tidewater of Virginia, the Delmarva Peninsula, and the Jersey Shore. After that, it appears to stall and spin offshore before slowly weakening. This is not your typical fast-moving nor'easter. It has a dual structure and a chaotic evolution. Northern energy connection to give some love to the northeast before the main show even arrives. We'll see pre-event energy diving down from eastern Canada. That northern energy merges with southern moisture, helping to ignite coastal development off New England. By Monday morning into midday, conditions may rapidly deteriorate across southern New England, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and coastal Massachusetts. That's when we're likely to experience the worst impacts: classic northeasterly winds, coastal pounding, and periods of torrential rain. And let's be clear, this isn't hype. This setup is legitimately comparable to a nor'east. These types of systems usually occur a few times a year, though recent falls and winters have been strangely quiet along the East Coast. But this one is different. Tan. Odd two-phase system that develops, elongates, regenerates, and then curls up the coast. Impacts from the coastal storm. Now let's break down impacts from south to north, starting with rainfall and wind. Florida from now through Tuesday evening. Eastern Florida may see a few inches of rain, especially along the coast. Winds won't be severe, generally 20 to 30 miles per hour gusts, perhaps briefly reaching 35 miles per hour near Jacksonville and Palm Coast. Manageable, but enough to mess up outdoor plans and produce localized PONDING, Georgia and South Carolina. Expect the rainfall forecast here may trend upward in future model runs. Areas like Columbia, Rock Hill, and Augusta could pick up a quarter to half an inch, perhaps more, if heavier bands drift inland. Along the South Carolina coastline, 1 to 2 inches of rain is likely. Wind-wise, it will be noticeably breezy, especially Saturday and Sunday. Expect gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour across much of Georgia and the Carolinas, stronger near the coast. It's a classic moody October setup. Low clouds, gusty breezes, cooler air, and a raw coastal feel. Not tropical, more like the first true taste of fall. North Carolina and Virginia rainfall amounts increase significantly east of I-95. Eastern North Carolina is in line for 2 to 4 inches of rain, the Outer Banks topping 4 inches. The bigger issue here will be the wind and coastal flooding plus beach erosion, something the Outer Banks deal with nearly every coastal storm now. Sadly, we may lose more homes to the Atlantic yet again if this storm's track wobbles westward. Wind gusts along the Outer Banks could reach 45 to 50 miles per hour, potentially higher depending on the exact low position. Strong onshore flow could shift direction if the low reforms, so wind direction may change through Monday, but stormy marine conditions are guaranteed. As we move farther up the eastern seaboard into the Tidewater region, the Delmarva Peninsula, and even the DC-Baltimore corridor, rainfall totals begin to climb. Many locations are on track to receive a few inches of rain. with localized amounts reaching 3.5 to 4 inches, especially near Salisbury and coastal Maryland. So, if you live in those areas, be prepared for persistent bands of rain and areas of standing water. Now, let's talk wind. Because this is where the storm becomes hazardous, along the Tidewater and Delmarva coastline. Winds will start to get downright nasty. We're talking gusts of 30 to 50 miles per hour, especially near coastal inlets and exposed shorelines. And once you get up toward the Jersey Shore, that's where some of the strongest and most damaging winds are expected. Model guidance suggests 50 to 60 mph. Gusts are very possible along the immediate coast. Keep in mind these graphics from the National Weather Service only go out about 66 hours, so they don't even cover the full duration of the storm. That means the strongest winds may not yet be fully reflected in these early forecasts. But the signal is already clear. This is a strong nor'easter-style system, and it will bring coastal hazards New Jersey. Highest impacts expected moving north to New Jersey, especially the shore communities. This is where I expect the worst overall impacts, a combination of heavy rain, damaging winds, coastal flooding, and beach erosion. Rainfall, widespread 2 to 4 inches inland, with 4 to 5+ inches possible along the Jersey Shore. Flooding, urban, and small stream. Flooding possible due to persistent bands of heavy rain. Wind, gusts 45 to 55 miles per hour, potentially higher in exposed coastal zones. Marine hazards, high surf, strong onshore flow, and coastal erosion are likely. This storm is not catastrophic, but it will be disruptive and high impact for coastal. New Jersey power outages and property damage near the shoreline are on the table. New York City and Long Island looking toward New York City, Long Island, and coastal Connecticut. Winds won't be quite as extreme as Jersey, but still strong enough to cause issues. Wind 30 to 40 miles per hour inland, 45 to 50 miles per hour near the south shore of Long Island. Rain 1 to 3 inches with heavier pockets. Coastal impacts, minor to moderate tidal flooding, especially around high tide cycles. If you're near the coast, secure loose outdoor items and prepare for travel delays. Southern New England, Dothe into southern New England, Rhode Island, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket. This will feel like a typical early season nor'easter. Rainfall, mostly 1 to 2 inches. Wind gusts, 30 to 40 miles per hour, higher along exposed capes and islands. Impact level, manageable. You've handled much worse northern New England for New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Rainfall amounts will be light to moderate, nothing significant. No major wind threat here either. Additional local impact statements looking at some of the local National Weather Service offices along the coast. Wilmington, NC, watching minor to moderate tidal flooding, coastal water rise. Charleston, SC, low-end impacts, but elevated tides possible. Morehead City, Newport, NC, Outer Banks, serious surf and beach erosion concerns. Their latest video update is worth watching if you live there. Thank you guys, see you tomorrow.